Hello.
Hello, welcome. Give a few minutes. Did anyone have trouble getting in? Because I did.
Yeah, it seemed to take a little while.
Okay.
It was just sort of cranking along for a little bit before it decided.
Mm. And in the meantime, while folks are joining, we did have a question for everyone, which is, what do you consider to be the first sign of spring? So something you see, hear, smell, taste, whatever, that you're like, oh yeah, it is springtime.
Well, do you want us to all call it out?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because for me, it's the resident eagles are beginning to nest.
Mm. And I see some in the chat, daffodils. Oh, that's a good one. I think that might be mine too. Or actually mine might be the cherry blossoms that are like early. They're like, oh, is it spring? That's kind of the one for me. Longer hours of daylight, chirping birds waking me up at 6 a.m. Anyone else, the first signs of spring for you?
Yeah, is my audio on?
Yes.
Jeff Clark from St. Paul. Well, to be prosaic about it right now, the way the winter is gone, first signs of spring is when the last of the ice is melted and I can take the chains off my boots. So I'm still walking the dogs with those on.
I am not jealous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm in Alabama and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Pollen by the ton. I see you, Mark, in the chat. Absolutely. It's funny because also all of the Move to Amend staff are under the same login. So I am saying a lot of things in chat. And everyone else is Mary Sue. Let me know. I see another Mary Sue coming in. So let us know if that link worked. I assume that's maybe Margaret joining. All
hey,
right.
Margaret.
Yes, Mary Sue Margaret version. Welcome. All right. And hopefully folks that are trying to join will see that in the agenda. All right. So thanks everyone for being here. I will share the agenda in the chat again. Now that we're thinking about the spring, and this equinox was yesterday, no? Last night. So new energy. I'm feeling those allergies hit, so out of it. But we must continue to bloom. So yeah, if we're just going to go through a few updates, the affiliates, you all can give updates. We'll go to announcement from staff, talk about a few things that we're doing, talk about finances and upcoming events. The link didn't work again. I copied the link and pasted into my Zoom account page. Okay. Awesome. So I can start giving the update on HCR 48. So we cannot send the link out from affiliate support. If someone can do that so that folks can join, that would be great. Can someone from staff email them? Earth Day, yes. Let me know if someone can send it out to them so they can join.
I'll do it.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Okay, so should I go ahead and do an update? Yeah, might as well continue when people join. If they join with any questions, we can go ahead and answer those. So I'll share the agenda in the chat again for folks who might have missed it. So we've been kind of whiplashed around with when HCR 48 is going to be reserved properly. They said it was going to be last week. We got an email from the aide, from Jayapal's aide, saying it's going to be last week. Hi, Ambrosia. Now we got an email saying maybe it was going to be the beginning of this week. Still hasn't happened, still has not been reserved. So we're kind of unsure. However, in the meantime, there is still space and time to be contacting your reps to become original co-sponsors. I will drop the link in the chat for the 118th Congress. So we have an updated Dear Colleague letter that was sent to all House members at the time. So that should already be sent out. So yeah, they can still apply as co-sponsors and to email Jayapal's aide if they want to be. So we can push further on that, and we've been encouraged to. And we can update you all. I'm sure we'll do a million email blasts when it's properly reserved. So that's the update on that.
Margaret Stack?
Sorry?
Stack?
Yes, go ahead.
So you sent, I got an email today from you with a copy of the Dear Colleague letter, and it listed who had signed up again and who was left over from the 117th. So my representative was on the list from the 117th, but not from the new signups. So I sent him an email right away and said,
Yes.
you got a letter from Jamila, blah, 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 you know, sign up again, please. Thank you very much. So I think that was really helpful to have that information.
Amazing. Hell yeah, Margaret. Get them. And did you get a response, or did anyone say anything?
Well, I just sent it today,
Okay. So
but I
hopefully,
said I wanted a response.
awesome. Okay. So hopefully that'll be, if they get in contact with Elise, the aide for Jayapal, then they can be added as an original co-sponsor. And even if they're not an original co-sponsor at the time of, you know, being reintroduced, they can still become a co-sponsor, and that has just as much weight. It's just that they're not going to be seen as the original co-sponsor, but like legally it has the same weight. So still important to push for that after this initial period. And we can always follow up on folks that we had sent emails to that didn't sign on as original co-sponsors. They can still become co-sponsors later on. So, all right. So is there any other questions about that? Comments? Did everyone else email your representatives? Any questions about the update? Okay, let's move on then. So affiliate updates. Let's get some folks to give us updates. Go ahead, Margaret.
California, I don't know where we are. Anyway, the California contingent, we have a meeting with a new aide for Senator Padilla. I think it's the first week in April. So we'll be making another presentation. We didn't get very far the last time, and we got a response from Padilla's office that told us that he didn't quite get it. So we're going to try again with a new aide, and it is scheduled. So we're keeping on.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Any other updates from folks? Yeah, Karen, go ahead.
I have called all of my representatives, actually both state and federal, because I figure that you should get everybody. And we have a new congressional district here in Oregon. And so I wanted to, you know, particularly welcome that person in. into a nasty Congress, poor thing, and to thank her for running. But yeah,
Awesome. Thank you for that, Karen. And I see Deborah in the chat on Stack. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I'm Deb Hogshead in Troy, Ohio. Our affiliate has moved to amend Miami County. This week and next, we are doing a survey of all the candidates for city council and mayor, doing a pledge to amend campaign, basically. And with that update about what we're doing, I'm wondering about the webpage for the pledge to amend. We're asking the candidates here in Troy to just submit a paper questionnaire as opposed to giving them a link, because I wasn't sure what the status of the pledge to amend page was. But anyway, that's what we're doing, getting ready for the primary pass.
Thank you, Deb. And
Jenny Stack.
yeah, go ahead, Jenny, real quick.
I have a direct response, Deb. So it's in the works. A new one is being created because the last one, we broke it, right? We did have a meeting today with our nation builder assistant, but he had a cat emergency and wasn't able to make the meeting. He says it should be done by next Tuesday. So that was the only update he gave. And so the paper petition would be great. And if you just send them to me, then I'll input them. Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you, Jenny.
And I see Mary Sue in the chat, which I assume is not the real Mary Sue. So everyone got renamed Mary Sue because they joined using her link. So if anyone, it's really funny. Almost everyone is named Mary Sue until you rename yourself. So go ahead and rename yourself. If you write it in the chat, it will come as Mary Sue. So let me know which one is on Stack right now.
I think it's
Real
Jeff.
Mary
Jeff,
Sue.
you need to unmute yourself, Jeff.
Jeff, I see you, Jeff, now.
Okay, yes, it's me. I wanted to be in the stack. Okay, here in Minnesota, on the state level, first of all, we are going to work on our 4 of our 8 representatives have always been on board because they're DFLers on that. And we're unlikely to get any more, but we're going to make sure we keep them all on board when the JR 48 is reintroduced. I've got an alphabet of bills with the state level. So that's something we're going to work on when right away when the bill is introduced. The state level, though, we are still trying and have great hopes of becoming the 23rd state to ask Congress to create the amendment. And the first state among those so far that does both parts of it clearly. The money is in speech and deals with that issue, but also the corporate rights of corporations and artificial entities not being constitutional rights. They wouldn't have those. If we can get this through, that's where it's going to be. We are working down to the wire this session because this is the most opportune biennium we've had since we first introduced this bill in 2013-14, because the Democrats have both houses of the legislature. However, it is a tremendously busy year. We've made progress in the Minnesota Senate, and the bill is ready to either go to the floor or go into an omnibus bill at the end of the session, but it's stalled in its first committee in the Minnesota House. And that's because they're dealing with so much. The best that the chair can promise us, as well as the lead author, is they made a promise that if we don't get to it, and we probably won't because of their meeting schedule, that they will introduce it next session, next year. We're still working on this year. They've got a deadline of this Friday that the bill has to be heard in the House. Otherwise, it's goes by the board until next year, and then we've got to re-sign everyone up. They're getting a tremendous amount of pressure from constituents who have told them, we want this bill to get a hearing. And the best he could do so far is to promise it, but they might schedule another meeting or two this week before the 24th or by the 24th. All of us in Minnesota Move to Amend are going down and showing up with our t-shirts at their hearing this week, which is tomorrow morning. We're going to be there bright and early and see if something changes. Meanwhile, I also got really great and uncharacteristic news from the local coordinator, the Minnesota coordinator of American Promise, whose name is Vicki Barnes, because she's behind our bill too, even though they do not have a competing bill out. And they are fine with it, even though National is not pushing our kind of amendment, as everybody probably knows. And she just told me she got National to send out an e-blast to all their people telling constituents in Minnesota, contact Chair Freiberg of the committee, the elections, finance and policy committee, and tell them we want to hear that bill. It has national implications. So we've got them behind us right now too, and it would be nice to get this through at the last minute before any opposition shows up if the bill is heard. The shorter the window, the less likely it is we're going to have people making trouble at the hearing. So we're still hopeful. It's a very exciting week, but it'll all be over one way or another by this Friday. 2 more days or 3 more days. So at any rate, that's a bit lengthy, but we're still working to become the 23rd state. And if it doesn't happen this year, it probably will next year. So I'll leave it at that.
That's awesome. And a lot at once. So yeah, keep us updated. That's great. Awesome. Anyone, any other affiliates want to tune in, give us an update? Greg, do you say you want to be on stack?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, just on behalf of several local groups here in Ohio that are hosting between now, a couple have already done so, but between February and September, 12 Ohio communities are having what we Democracy Day public hearings that are mandated by the communities in question, cities, townships, that came about as a result of ballot initiatives that were passed from 2012 up to 2020 that call for either annual or biennial public hearings in which sometimes just residents of that municipality, other times anybody can show up and speak to the impact of big money in elections and corporate power, corporate rule on their lives, the community, the world, everything in between. And so, you know, this year happens to be one where all 12 have public hearing. Coming up is in the community of Toledo on Thursday. And then after that in Painesville, which is pretty, it spans the gamut from very progressive communities to very, red communities. One of which, of the 12, 11 are still being sponsored by the communities, the city councils or township trustees. But one in this community of Brecksville, which was the first to pass one of these back in 2012, the chagrin of these city fathers and mothers and others in between. They went to court all the way to the Ohio Supreme Court to keep it off the ballot. This is technically the 10th year, the last year, according to the ordinance, that they were to hold it, and they're not doing it. So the group that didn't want to call itself Move to Amend because that was considered too radical, they're holding their own public hearing. They're inviting all the people, as well as the senators and the congressperson. So they're going to sponsor their own group. People are going to accept testimony, and they're going to use it throughout the year. It's a local election year. And so they're going to sort of beat up Republicans dominate city council by saying, what are they afraid of in having a public hearing once every 2 years on democracy? You can't do that. So this is going to become an election issue this year.
Thanks, Greg. I see Bob, your hand's up.
Yes, I just heard about this business of having annual or near annual hearings about this in cities and towns. And I was so impressed that I'm trying to get us to work on that in Minnesota after the elections are over. Hopefully we have enough people power to do some of that. Pass.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Awesome. And yeah, I see the link in the chat. Thanks for that. All right, is there any other updates? Okay, let's go move on ahead if that's okay with everyone to announcements from staff.
Hello, good evening. Shelley here. Nice to see all of you. And so the first announcement is that we owed you a full report back from our strategy retreat last month. And, you know, we got back, took a break, and then HJR 48 stuff kind of took everything over. And we don't have that, but I can give you just a little brief overview. And then at our next coalition call, we'll have a more thorough report back for you. But we did a lot of it was, you know, around the Democracy Unlimited work that we're going to be relaunching. But the working groups that we created to do that work are right now going to be focusing on Move to Amend. And a lot of this is going to be around content and media and learning how to be good on platforms like TikTok and Discord, where young people are that we are not on. So this work will benefit both Move to Amend and these new projects that we're going to be launching. We also developed a finance and fundraising working group. So we will have a lot of juicy stuff to report back from that work. And yeah, I am excited for you to hear all the things, but for now, know that we're busy getting good at making content, and it's exciting. And yeah, Ambrosia is back. A lot of you who've been around for a long time remember Ambrosia, who has, I think you were here when I came on in 20, maybe in an intern capacity or something, but Ambrosia started as an intern and then came on to staff and left, you know, a few years ago, right before the pandemic. And at the retreat, that was one of the great things that came out of it. We were like, see if she wants to come back, because she's really good at doing this, you know, day-to-day admin work. And also there's other opportunities of stuff we're doing that she could plug into as well. So Ambrosia, I don't know if you want to say hello to your old friends and new friends.
Hi, y'all. I'm super excited to see your faces, hear your voices, and just be back in the loop with Move to Amend in general. Like, you've never been very far from my heart or my spirit, and it just makes me feel better just as a whole to be back. And I'm living in Gerlach, Nevada, super duper small town. I say super duper, there's like 150 people or so. Takes like 10 minutes to walk from one end to the next. But they're very, very, very tight-knit community that are involved with their local politics. So I couldn't be in a better place with a better community, doing awesome work with awesome people. So yay. That's all I'm gonna say though. Okay.
And also Ambrosia will be kind of the main person behind the affiliate support account. So as it used to be, y'all remember, it was Ambrosia doing the load of that. So you can imagine her smiling face behind the screen. So yeah, we're really glad you're back. And our intern, Dylan, who could not make it because this is a day that he isn't available for work, but we've got this great intern. I have not been working as directly. I don't know if somebody else wants to kind of give an overview of what Dylan's been working on. I feel like I'm probably not best suited.
I can do that real quick in a minute. He's working a lot of different with volunteer calls and administrative things, but he's spending also a decent fair amount of time working with law and research in trying to dig up examples both in the past and present. And you'll be hearing more about this in a month or two. We're looking at trying to come up with best practices of various sort of anti-corporate or pro statutes or laws that people like you who are affiliate leaders and others in Move to Amend to complement and supplement the constitutional work may want to engage in to complement or supplement that work. Statutes like, abolishing corporate constitutional, a corporate charter, or focusing on companies that get sued, can't create bogus companies, that shell companies that they move their assets and move lawsuits to avoid liability, whether it's financial or legal. A few things like that we're looking into, upwards of 6 of them. So he's doing research, looking back, digging back, among old state laws that go back a century or more up to the present to see what may be found that could be used. A 3 strikes and you're out provision as well, that I know the state of California passed some years ago. So is that the very best? We don't know. He's looking up, and once we come up with such templates, we'll send them out. We'll probably have a webinar on it and go from there. So he's helping a lot in that realm.
Nice. Thank you, Greg. And yeah, Dylan's great. We are enjoying him a lot. Okay. The movement education program, just a reminder, that still exists. It is, definitely has changed formats over the years, but it's now housed on a Radical Guides website, which is a project run by Jason Bayless, who's on our board. And it's really just well organized and easy to use there. And it's really kind of a individual self-paced program now. So a reminder that if you have not gone through it, if you're newer, and I'm talking even in the last few years, if you're just an advocate or an affiliate group that came around and you have not done that, we haven't been, following up and being really intense about it. We used to be a lot more so, but it is something that is expected within the first 6 months of you signing that MOU with us. So if you haven't, then we strongly urge you to go ahead and start that, and you go at the pace that you want to go at. Also a reminder that we are looking for kind of testimonials or whatever from those of you, and I know there's a lot of people on this call who have gone through the movement education program with your group in your community, and you developed that solidarity organizing plan and the internal democracy plan. And if you have not told us about how that worked for you and how it continues to work for you, we would really love to hear that. It's really helpful for us to, explain how effective this is and has been in our affiliates, for them to, make connections in their community and also develop good internal democracy practices. So the links to both the program itself that you can take if you haven't yet, as well as the link to tell us about your experiences if you have, are right there. Reminder that we now have the Move to Amend Eco Network, and we invite anybody who's interested in that intersection to join that group. The next meeting is Thursday, April 13th at 5 p.m. It doesn't say, is that Pacific time or is that Eastern. I think that's Eastern, right? 2
Pacific.
p.m. Pacific. It's 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And up. Reminder that we have a second Zoom line that isn't being used very much. So we would love for you all to take advantage of that second Zoom line if that's something you need. When you have the, personal accounts, you get booted off, I think, after 45 minutes. So if that's helpful to you in your meetings or anything that you're doing related to Move to Amend, hit us up and we can let you use that. And finally, as we always remind you about the monthly affiliate activity reports, it can be a really short bullet list. And it's also okay if you had a slow month. We don't want it to feel like something that is high pressure that you have to perform and have, deliverables every month. But it's just nice to hear how things are going. And so that link is there. And with that, I am done. Or if anyone has any questions, I'm here for that.
Anyone have any questions? All right, thanks, Shelley. So we'll move on to spring actions and non-HJR 48 actions with Greg.
Hello again, everyone. Now that spring has sprung, well, everywhere except Minnesota, that is, I guess, right? Where it's still knee-deep in snow. There's always opportunities to reach out in ways that are mentioned in the agenda. In addition to your HJR 48 work that you may be doing, so you may not be doing because your congressional person just is not amenable and has no real prospect of doing so. But there is still so much support that can be supplied to us in these 4 ways that are mentioned under number 1, petitioning, resolutions, endorsements, and pledge to amend. As Jeff mentioned, the pledge to amend and others, all of you are well aware, trying to get, it is in many places, since it is an odd number year, that local elections, municipal elections, county elections, sometimes even state. So it's a good opportunity to get out there. Endorsements, we're talking about their organizational endorsements to help us add to the list of over 700 groups that have taken their own sort of equivalent pledge to support us. Resolutions are to get your municipalities to pass either a resolution, or if you really have the energy, to go out and try to collect enough signatures on an official ballot to get something on your municipal ballot this year or next. And petitioning is taking our petition that you can find at movetoamend.org/motion, going out. And what these things do collectively is they help us build power. Petitioning internal in giving us numbers to use when we lobby, but also numbers to be volunteers, numbers to help start affiliates, numbers to fundraise, numbers to help do all the outreach necessary, tabling and the like. And resolutions and endorsements help us build power sort of horizontally with other organizations and political, local political officials who today may be city council people, but tomorrow are the state representatives and senators and even governors, and they have become the congressional people or even senators that we lobby. So it's really important to build those contacts. So just wanted to throw out first, for those of you who may have any interest in any one-on-ones of these, how can we help you in working on any of these? Just want to open it up. You can either put that or be acknowledged verbally if you have interest in doing any of these. Again, to complement or supplement the work in recruiting for the HJR 48, unless you're not doing it at all, which is even better because you have even more time. Mary Sue, is that you?
Yeah, the real one. It is me. I just wanted to ask about with endorsements. Is there any way that we can ever get the ACLU or the League of Women Voters? I think at this point, they've been opposed to the amendment. I'm wondering if anybody else has worked on them at all, or if it needs to be done at the national level. I assume it does. Two organizations that I think ought to be on board that I don't believe are. That's all.
You are correct. And two answers, very specific to each one, and others may have some local experience.
Margaret Stack?
Yeah, go ahead, Margaret.
So when I was still living in Mendocino County, I went to a meeting of the local chapter of the League of Women Voters. This is when 59 was on the ballot in California. This was a voter advisory, which passed, not by much, but it passed. But the League of Women Voters took an official position against it. So I wrote a long thing, rebutting each of their points, which used to be on the website. I don't know if it still is. And so the people, what I wanted to say though, is the people at the local meeting, I talked a little bit and they said, oh yeah, they're just wrong. We understand. So the locals got it. And they weren't, swayed at all by the arguments. And I don't know what's wrong with those people. And the ACLU is just wrong, and stubbornly so.
Real quick, the League of Women Voters has a very laborious process that some of you may know that really does. I mean, it is authentically democratic in that the locals have to support, and then if there's enough support, I think the actual process, the locals then have to pass something to say we're going to research the topic. That may take a year or two, and then after that it comes back to the national convention where they vote on it. And there's, I'm sure, many steps in between that I've missed, but it really does begin at the local level. So if you have those kinds of contacts, work them and get them to take a position and go from there. ACLU, when they came out and filed an amicus, did they file an amicus brief against or in support of Citizens United? They may have, but anyway, they have certainly supported corporate constitutional rights at the national. There's been opposition at the local level, so we've not engaged with them in quite some time. It may be worthwhile doing again.
Thank you.
So back to the question before I go to the second one, which is any way that we can help any of you who may be interested in doing any of the following here this spring: of petitioning, engaging in resolutions, endorsements, or pledge to amend. I'll just say I previously put the link in the chat of what Ohio has done concerning the municipal resolutions and passing it. Feel free to reach out to me. We can send you templates on the actual language of the ballot language to incorporate the local Democracy Day public hearings if there's interest. So Bob, if you're interested, let me know. And
Margaret
anybody
Stack?
else. Yep.
So I'm still working up to approaching people here in my new community to make a presentation and maybe ask for endorsement. So are there particular resources on the website that are geared towards that? Like a PowerPoint or an outline or anything of that nature?
Yeah, there's quite a bit. So you may want to go to the toolkit, educational toolkit, and there's a bunch of template presentations. We're constantly, of course, updating them. One of the more recent ones is one that Keon and I did to Congress, or at least congressional candidate or congressional aides last year. But there's a number of other ones there, and there's some talking points that have been put together as well. So, any specific questions you have, particularly around specific organizations, because there may be information talking points or fact sheets that have been specifically tailored to healthcare groups or environmental groups or labor groups that you may not be able to find, but that we can. So again, reach out to affiliate support or hit us up individually at our first names and move to Met. Okay, well, if nothing on that, then the second question is number 2 about local educational programs, question mark. We've obviously been sort of pushing these movement education empowerment talks, which if you've had a chance in the past to look at and check on the link, has been specifically designed. And we've done a couple of these where we try to, go and work with a local affiliate, but very intentionally try to have a representative or two from another local group be part of that collective presentation. So that's one model of doing a local education program, but 2 others that we just want to offer, that we're willing to design something with you to tailor it to meet your maximum needs. And maybe the movement education empowerment talk isn't it, but maybe the second one is, which is an exclusive Move to Amend public program where we open it up virtually and we send something out just to people on the database from your community, from your area. And in addition, you take the lead in spreading it out via social media or flyers, whatever, but it's specifically just, Move to Amend, talking about what we're doing and how it may connect with other groups or it does connect with other groups that go on in your community, but it's sort of a first step toward what would be then maybe a follow-up step of having another program where you reach out and consciously and intentionally bring some of those other groups in to do a collective program. So that's sort of a second model. The third is just, hey, we're more than happy to get together with you and however small or large of a grouping it may be, or it is, to just have sort of a discussion strategy session about how's it going, what are you doing, what's working, what isn't, what kind of help, more one-on-one. Any one of us from national staff or probably a couple people from the board would be willing to be a part of that solo or together. So feel free. Any one of these 3, open to working with you. So just want to open it up to answer any questions about whether what I've just said, is clear. And if not, I'll try to make it more clear. Or if it is clear and you're interested, let us know now and I'd be glad to follow up with you. So open it up just for a minute or 2 if you have any questions or want to take the dive and say, yeah, I'm interested in 1, 2, or 3 of those. Okay. Just reading a message here from Sue from Montana. What's going on there? I don't know, Sue, you just wanted to share that with others. It's about the League of Women Voters.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought of it. It was the issue had gone by. So
yeah, well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say about the league that for 3 or 4 years, the person who's now the state chair of the league worked really closely with our affiliate. We co-sponsored scads of stuff. I think she kind of picked up a lot of stuff from what we were doing. It was really a really nice back and forth, relationship. And we're still really close on some other issues around the state on democracy. And I've been meaning to talk to her because I just can't imagine how long, because once she went off to concentrate on the league, then they couldn't do anything that said anything about constitutions because they have never, what do they call it, researched it in the whole shamir. So I've been thinking that I needed to talk to her again about that issue too. I don't see how long they can continue to not deal with that, the issue of corporations, just in general. It's just, anyhow, I just can't imagine that they can just put their head in the sand. So
good way to work with the league, and some of you may have, is to do so around money and politics, because that is one of their core issues, kind of in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, yeah,
Along,
yeah. it
yeah,
is.
along with gerrymandering and a few other
Mhm,
things like that. So there
mhm.
are, those
Well,
are
yeah.
and voting, of course. And
Well, and the
voting.
Montana Constitution is one of the best in the world, from the 1972 Constitution, and it's just up for grabs with this session with we're totally red except for the Supreme Court. That's the only thing we have left in the state really right now. So democracy and the Constitution is a huge issue all around the state right now.
Okay, well, I'll end it here. Again, just reach out. Feel free to reach out to us concerning either help on any one of those items that could be done and to do this springtime. And if interested in any one of these educational program formats, feel free to reach out to us.
Mhm. Yeah, thanks, you guys.
Okay. I'll pass. Dolores.
All right, thanks so much for that, Greg. And the next section is about finances and fundraising. Jenny, still good to take that?
Sure, I'd love to. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here with you. So as Shelley kind of alluded to earlier, we've created a couple of working group committees to really kind of dig in and level up, right? One of the areas that we identified that needed that is our finance and fundraising area. So there has been a new committee formed, which is just an extension of what we've already been doing. But we have identified that we are going to hire a fundraising director, somebody that focuses clearly on the fundraising. It's obviously needed and very important. Also, we have Barbara Gerton has agreed to help in some advising on the financial sphere where it concerns hiring a bookkeeper. As you know, last year we hired one, but we weren't feeling like we were getting our money's worth in that. They weren't following through. We weren't getting any reports to be able to report back to the board. So we did move on from there, and Barbara will be helping in that area as well, which, as you know, she's been a longtime supporter of that and wanting this process. So super excited to have her coming on to help with that. I know she's kind of really layered up right now with what's going on in Minnesota and all the, powerful stuff that they're doing right now. But she's still going to give us some time and focus on that as well. So super excited about that. And then that's just where we're at. We're having that first iteration meeting of that, where we're going to have the board. We have our fundraising that we do through the staff, and some of the board come, but this is going to be more intentional with board interaction and help on that. So how can you help? That will be coming. Probably the next meeting, we are going to have calls. We want to, we get our C3 is pretty solidly supported, right? But the C4 work, the actual lobbying work, legislative work, which is what most of us get paid out of as the staff, because that's what we try to, we focus on that mostly. So this will be, we'll be making calls that will be kind of explaining and making that case for folks. So if y'all would like to help in that way and at any time, please let us know. Just reach out to me. We'll get you on that list to try to make the case to some of our C3 donors about the necessity of supporting the C4 work as well. And I want to open up to Stack. Does anybody have any questions about what we're doing there right now? Or suggestions, ideas, thoughts? Okay, more information is coming on that as it develops. We will keep you, of course, informed every step of the way. Thank you all again for all the thank you call volunteers. all the lists are out, so we're good on that era. And I did want to just bring up, it's kind of off topic or off agenda, but the new ecology network, it's linked in the agenda, is, let me put it here for you. So it's a new website for the ecology network, and this is to be very super interactive. There's an opportunity to share your story. If you have a corporate rural story, if you can make the connection between something happening in your community and corporate rule, and obviously the destruction of our environment, anything that's harming your community, preventing any solutions, avoiding way corporations avoid cleaning up their toxic mess, any of those kind of stories. We have open space here. We would love to have you engage in that. There's a blog for sharing ideas in writing and also to connect with other people sharing on the blog. This hasn't been officially rolled out. I want y'all to take a look at it. If you have any suggestions for us, please give those to us. And if you would like to post, please do that as well. You could tell us your story with a video and just add your video vlog, if you will. And that's the second link. Okay, maybe share the screen. Can somebody give me screen share ability and I can go through this for 2 seconds? If you are interested in seeing this. Okay. Here we go. So real quickly, this is the EcoNet. It gives a little explainer and then a share your story option here. And in that, how do you get rid of that? Okay. So this is an open blog. We want it to be super interactive. So you can comment. Jason put the first post up here. You can read what he had to say here. You can comment and respond and engage with him in any way, or anyone else that posts on here. It's super easy, simple share. And then if you scroll down, this is the video vlog, right? If you want to record a 2-minute story, 3-minute story and post it on here, and people can engage with you as well, you just add your link right here, any words that you want to say about it. We'll get a new one up here as an example before we unveil it. But if you want to, go right ahead. And we've also created a space, if you don't have like the video, which we all do, but sometimes using that technology is a little difficult. We do have action software. We can use the same action software that we use to record for lobbying videos and stuff like that. Just put your information, hit next, and you can record a video, and that'll send directly to us, and we'll post that up for you. Okay. And just the idea with the EcoNet was to not have like another committee or caucus. This is a place for us to engage with each other and others in the movement, in the environmental ecology movement. And we have like toolkit, take action. The take action we have right now is just perfect. It's signing the pledge, so that's still linked and still very connected to what we're doing with the ecology network as well. Our input, that's our piece of the puzzle that we bring. But you can submit resources if you want them posted. We have learn more tabs of different things that we're doing and other people are doing. Of course, toolkit. For example, this is a longtime Move to Amend supporter and also an environmental advocate. She's very active. Brought this to the meeting, and it's just ways that they have connected the We the People Amendment. They've put it in their not only in their strategic planning to get the We the People Amendment passed, but also in their in their newsletter, they always mention and draw back and point to the We the People Amendment as partial solution, as a step in coming up with, in step forward in coming up with solutions and making the world a better place. And then also events, share your events, whether they're, your environmental action event, anything that's going on right now. There's a lot going on in California. We did have the Willow things up there. There's a couple that have went off already, but like the Stop Willow, that's, if you're not aware of that, that's something that Biden's done recently, opening up the Arctic to some drilling after swearing no more oil. So just wanted to put that out there and make sure that you all get a chance to look that over and give us some feedback before it goes live. Super appreciate your perspectives and your thoughts on that. I guess I could ask, is there any questions about it?
Okay, well, everyone make sure to check that out. And post your stories, like look through the website, give any feedback you have. And thanks, Jenny, for sharing that. I guess next is upcoming events.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. We have on Wednesday, March 29, the Labor Caucus is going to be meeting. That will be happening at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. And you can contact Greg at mutualmen.org if you are interested in participating on that. Also, the Law and Research Committee will be meeting on Friday, April 12th, at 2 Pacific and 5 Eastern. And you can also contact Greg at Mutual Man if you are interested in participating on that. Then, as it was already mentioned, the Ecology and Network is going to be having a call on Thursday, April 13 at 5 p.m. Pacific. And on the local and state level events, we have the Minnesota weekly working session happening every Monday, starting on the March 27th, April 3rd, 7th, 17th, and 24th. And those meetings are going to be held at 1 p.m. Eastern, I believe. The Florida statewide Central. Yeah, thank you. Florida statewide coalition monthly meetings are going to be, it's going to be on Thursday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you have any other events, you can go to mutualman.org/calendar to submit your events. This is a way that we can uplift and promote those events. So thank you for doing that. And now we would like to, I would like to open it in case there was anything missing on that calendar that you would like to share. I see a hand. Yes, go ahead, Karen.
I'm in Portland, Oregon, and we've been doing some work on rent issues. Since that is such a critical thing. And we also, they were working on a public bank for Portland, but now that has been converted to a state public bank, and they do have a meeting going on in Eugene, and I'd have to look to see when it is. The other thing that we're doing is we're having Susan Gordon and Steve Early for a live in-person event. And Steve Early was the author of Refinery Town, Big Oil, Big Money, and the Remaking of American City, which was about Richmond, California. And we have a Portland Metro People's Coalition that was patterned after those ideas. And Susan Gordon is an expert in veterans care. So they're going to be talking about their new book, Our Veterans Winners, Losers, Friends, and Enemies in the new terrain of veterans affairs. So that should be interesting. Our last in-person event was really well attended. It was really strange to see people in masks. It's like some of them you almost didn't recognize. It's been so long. And I definitely am going to be sharing about the ecology network on our private page because I know that a lot of people, that is their area of interest. And that's all.
Thank you so much for that. Anyone else wants to share any upcoming events you have locally or all right. In that case, let's look at when is going to be the next call, and that will be on April 18. And again, a reminder to please submit your monthly reports using the form on the agenda. You will also be able to find the notes and the recording for this call on the affiliate support page on our website shortly after this call. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much, Alfonso. And I believe that someone during this call changed the link for the meeting. Did I make that up? I got a notification. So hopefully that'll be better next time. And a few things in the chat. I see that Labor Caucus call is tomorrow, Wednesday at noon Pacific, and to email Greg if you want to attend. And April 2nd or 12th is a Wednesday. Lawn Research meets on the second Wednesday of the month. And just wanted to issue a correction. I said the February affiliate meeting that was Amy Kloschber was on the subcommittee for the Constitution of the Judiciary Committee. She is not in that subcommittee. Okay, just reading some things in the chat. Poorly reading them, but still sort of reading them.
Penny Stack.
Go ahead, Jenny.
Just real quick. So we sent out that link with Mary Sue's link to get into the email. I think what we need to do is just start fresh and have everybody re-register for that call. So we will send that out before the next meeting because this is causing a lot of stress and turmoil for all of us that can't get in.
Yeah, and now we're all officially part of Mary Sue's FBI file, as in chat. So
people guessing.
Bob?
I wasn't able to sign in until I signed into Zoom with my own account, and in that window, pasted in the link that was sent, the old link, and then I got in.
Ugh, that's still so much trouble. I know it's something with Zoom, I'm pretty sure, because this happened at another meeting today. So we'll try to get that figured out for next time. But if anything happens, maybe we'll do the same thing and update the agenda. But yeah. Okay, well, thanks everyone for coming. Nice to see you all. And yeah. Karen?
Reach out. We can still get more original co-sponsors. It does show power. The more we can have, the better. So let's keep that going.
So true, Jenny. Yes.
Sorry, I thought I lowered my hand.
Oh,
thanks.
No problem. All right. Take care, everyone.
Thank you all.
Bye. Good seeing you all.
Bye.
Bye.